Right, good morning, unless it's good afternoon. I've been asked to speak about what is it like being a UKIP MEP. The first thing you have to realise is that you have two masters. You have the party who got you this job with prestige and money, and you also have the taxpayer who pays you to do a job that is broadly defined. And you must keep in the forefront of your mind that you have two masters and you must serve both of them to your best ability. The first thing that will happen to you once you become elected is that you will either choose a committee to serve on or one will be chosen for you. Having made that decision, for me it was easy. I was the only one of the 13 elected in 2009 and the only one of the 24 elected in 2014 who knew about farming, so I went on to the Agriculture Committee. Now there I had a choice. I could have simply just been a number, just one of those 45 who turned up to vote every now and again and did nothing else, or I could get constructively engaged as the formal opposition, which is what we are to the European Union. You can do more than just say, oh, you're a bunch of W's, and I'm not going to say anything. What I say is, I don't agree with this piece of legislation for this, that, and the other solid agricultural reason. And this has at least got me some sort of reputation in that committee that I do know what I'm talking about, even if they don't like my political colour. Now, every now and again, you get an opportunity to push UKIP policy. And again, this is where I struck the balance last summer. Generally, we're not expected to get involved in the workings of the European Parliament. However, I had the opportunity to be a rapporteur on an opinion. I won't go into the details of that. It means, for a time, I was rather important. And I produced an opinion on something called the LIFE, which is basically all about climate change. And I produced a document that was full of scientific fact about what farmers could and really couldn't do about trying to change the climate. Well, they went berserk when this came public. They hated it. And I was, well, I can't think of the words, not very nice words. But all the things they said about me, you're a denier, you're a denier, you're a denier. Nobody came back with any sort of scientific answer at all. Nothing. Well, it was amended out of sight. My name got taken off it, fortunately, because I wouldn't want to be a UKIP MEP who had his name on a report. But it was a way of getting our party manifesto ideas into the European Parliament and a way of actually being involved in the whole thing. I try and strike the right balance. I've also joined a subgroup. I'm not a member of it, but I attend its meetings, animal welfare. Everyone might say, well, that's wonderful, animal welfare. Unfortunately, the animal rights activists speak to this group and they recommend things to livestock farmers that are simply impractical. It means they can't operate in the European Union, which means they will close down, which means we will import meat from countries where they treat animals very badly indeed. I try and point out these contradictions. There's often somebody from the Commission there. I'm thinking about my farmers in the eastern region, trying to act for them. That is what I'm trying to do, trying to do both jobs. Now, we have a constituency, 5.5 million people. They write us letters. You can take different attitudes to these letters. You can say, oh, well, we're in the European Union, bad luck, you shouldn't have joined. Or you can say to yourself, I'm elected, I have a good staff budget, I will employ good staff to help me respond to these letters. And I'm delighted when I get letters back from constituents saying, I wrote to all 7 MEPs in the Eastern region and you were the only one to respond. Or I'll get a letter saying, now, I would never ever vote for UKIP, Mr. Agnew, but I do appreciate the letter that you sent me. This is getting involved. This is giving you some sort of a profile. If you want to fight a Westminster election, you will try and represent people. But there is one group in the Eastern region who get a rotten deal in the European Parliament, and this is the small businessmen, the self-employed, because you have the NGOs over there in Brussels who will fly the flag for all the various lefty issues, if you want to call them that. You have paid lobbyists who will fly the flag for the large corporations. You have nobody flying the flag for the small businessmen. If they write to me, I will go and see them. I will go and make speeches on their behalf. I will even encourage some of them to write a 175-word, 1-minute speech. They appreciate what I'm doing. I try and get them to meet people in the commission for the double D, dilute and delay. We will never stop this legislation, but at least we can try and hold it back. They appreciate what I'm doing. We have something called an information budget, which I use to buy advertising space in about 8 or 9 regional papers. It's only 130 words. There's my photograph on one side, bad luck. There's the UKIP logo on the other. 130 words on what's been going on in the European Parliament over the last month. These are things that went under the radar. And there it is, every single month for the last 9 years, I've been communicating with my constituents using this information budget. Finally, we have the opportunity to go on something called delegations. You have to be very careful here. This is when you have the opportunity to go on a fact-finding tour in Jamaica in January. Well, that's an abuse of it. However, I did have the opportunity to go on a fact-finding mission in South Africa about South African-style murders. You may or may not know there's ethnic cleansing going on in South Africa. The ANC government is turning a blind eye to brutal tortures and murders of white South African farmers. I'm paid by the taxpayers of this country, A, to be an MEP, and B, they pay me to go on these missions. Anybody in this country who wants me to come and report back on a mission I've done as an MEP, I will do so. I will not be selected. I don't care who they are. Even if it's the Communist Party of Britain, I will go and do my job. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.